What's up, everybody? Coming to you live for our first Mamba bracketology. Pumped to have the corporate crew on the call with us. We're going to go through, talk about our favorite picks, our dark horse picks, and our favorite rounds for round one. But first, we've got a pretty big announcement to make that we want Mr. Quade Foster to give. Go after it, Quade.
Thanks, Brandon. What's up, guys? We're excited to come at you live. We're out here on the Red Shoe Tour and excited to be visiting each of the offices. May was awesome. Guys, we finished the month at 734 accounts, and a big driver of that was the driven competition. We're excited to announce that your 2022 driven champions is Team Now. Freaking good work, guys.
Let's go, baby! Team Now!
Dan, you called that, dude. You called that.
Dan called it when they were the significant underdogs. Like, no chance of winning. They pull it off.
True dark horse story. Hey, defending champions 2 years in a row, team captain Preston Erickson.
Bunch of slayers.
Yeah, so your winners that are going to go enjoy the trip to Vegas to go race the exotic cars is Jace Hansen, Ryan Erickson, Peyton Nelson, Trey Erickson, and Preston Erickson. So congrats, you guys. Let's go party in Vegas, and we're going to have a great time. Congrats, 2022 Driven Champs, Team Now. Okay, guys, now we're going to shift gears. Bracketology. If any of you guys have watched March Madness, if any of you have watched Sports Center, this is a chance for us to get together and banter a little bit on the different matchups that are going to exist over the next month in Mamba. So we're going to start things off. We're going to go through and we're going to pick the overall winners that we think are going to win the lead bracket. So again, this is just the lead bracket. We will get to the closers bracket next. But in the lead bracket, I'm gonna call through each person, and I want to hear your dark horse and why, like your thought process behind that. So to start us off, Dave Force, in the lead bracket, who do you believe is a dark horse?
Yeah, thanks, Quade. I wanted to say something about Team Now really quick. That last round when all the teams got back into the bracket for the championship of Driven, it was just so incredible, that last week performance, that I just wanted to give those guys a little bit of credit. Like, Dan kept saying they were going to win. I'm like, there's no way. They're too far behind with rollover and all those kind of things. And that performance that week was just sick. Like, they went all out. We actually broke the company record that week as a result of the Driven Championship. And just have a lot of respect and admiration for that team for digging deep and pulling out the win when most of us didn't think you guys had a shot. So nice work on that. My dark horse champion for this year in the lead bracket is Becca Erickson. I've been watching her. She has been so impressive. She's got this figured out. And that's who I have for my dark horse pick.
Okay. Brandon, what about you? Who's your dark horse pick?
My dark horse pick comes out of Dallas. He's trending up and got some momentum right now. Plus, we've got some deep family ties. So Mr. Jared Gibson over in Dallas has been just slaying it. He's my dark horse guy. Mamba Champ came out of Dallas last year. I think it's going to come out of Dallas again.
He's good. He's good, but I think you got the wrong name. But we'll see.
I'm excited. I actually had the chance to go recruit and work through that process with Jared. And his first week ever doing it, doing solar, he did 4 his very first week. So I knew from the beginning he was going to be a slayer, and we're grateful to have him. And I think Jared's is gonna go far. Dan, what about you?
I was waiting for you to call my name. I'm so pumped about my pick for the dark horse. My pick is Danny Faiki. I'm not sure if I'm saying your last name right, my man, but he just started really ramping up. His first deal was on May 18th, and he's had 11 deals since then. I think this guy is coming out super, super hot. I think he doesn't have a lot of history behind him, but I think what he does have is a ton of momentum. And I think with a bunch of closers like Junior Gonzalez, we got he's on Team Tribus. We got Junior Gonzalez, we got Jared Melby, Logan Erickson. I think he's got a lot of really good closers behind him on his team. I think Danny Fiicki, I actually have him going all the way to the Final Four in my bracket. I think he is going to crush it.
Yeah, and I love that comment about looking at the closers for this. It's so important for these lead reps to have strong closers they can go rely on to go push them through in these rounds. So it's such a team effort for those two groups to really go deep in this tournament.
That's the thing about Solar that we didn't really realize was that I love the way this tournament is set up because you have a lead and a closer side. And it was interesting that we had both the Dallas in Dallas, we had both the Mamba champs last year come out of that round because they absolutely feed on one another, right? So like, I do think it's really important to go look at the closers in each office. With that being said, I'm going to tell you what my dark horse is. It's Robbie South. Robbie South out in Tribus. They got a freaking slaying group of closers out there. And he came off and popped off, and he has days where he's done 4 in a day. And I just think that if he can go string that together, I think he can put together a pretty cool performance. So with that, let's go to Linda. Linda, I'm really excited to hear from Linda because she has a unique perspective as to watching these accounts come all the way through. So Linda, who is your dark horse pick?
And one thing that's super important for me to recognize, and I love how you guys touched on it, to pay attention to also the closer side of things. While that's important, I also think it just shows throughout history and what he's been able to produce. He can put the pedal to the metal, and I'm just super excited just for really him to just knock out of the park and do a home run in this. And Tate, my man, I am rooting for you. I am watching you, and just know, like, you're gonna get it, man. I'm super excited. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a classic pick. I think it's a great one. Let's see who else. Let's see, Branson.
So, can you hear me?
Yep.
I am going to have to go with, and this is because I hear a lot about him from Brandon, and because I'm around Brandon a lot, but my dark horse is Jared Gibson as well. I think that, like everybody's been mentioning, he's surrounded by a lot of momentum in Texas, as well as the importance of having those closers that are all bought into the competition on the closer side as well. So I expect him to go far, and I really hope so because I have him picked pretty far.
Awesome. Yeah, well, Jared, if you're watching,
Let's go, baby.
Pressure's on
two
him.
guys. Pressure's on you.
Brother.
Okay, now we're going to shift gears just a little bit. We're going to go through who do you have making it all the way, like based on everything, all things considered, dark horses, seeding going into it, momentum. Who do you have winning the entire lead bracket? Like if you're a betting man, you're putting all your money on one person to go take it all the way to the finish line. Who do you have? Dan.
Listen, I'm a man of numbers. I like stats. I like analytics. The number one all-time lead generator for this business is Tate Mosier. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Case closed. Tate Mosier's the guy.
Lie.
He's gonna win. I think there's a lot of people who can stand a chance, but man, he's seeded number 9, which looks a little bit interesting. You know, a little bit of a slow week last week, but I think he's going to be incredibly tough to beat.
I have to admit that is a great pick. Good job. That's a great pick. Dave, you're up.
I like that, Dan, that I know you watch numbers probably closer than anyone in our business. So, and Tate is an easy choice, but I think when you look at the data, you have to get closer to it in terms of what's happened recently. And when you go look at May, and just go look at the data for the top lead rep in the company, it was Jace Hansen. And so for me, I go look at that number of 20 deals in May. He goes and repeats that performance and turns it up a notch. And I don't think he's beatable. I think he can go win it all. I think he's got what it takes. So that's my pick for the champion.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick, David Force. Coming from the CEO, Jace Hansen. You better go make him proud, baby.
Hey, it was tough for me. I actually had CJ Rhodes up there initially. Like, CJ's a guy that should be on the closer side right now. Like, just he's been doing sales door to door for who knows how many years. Like, I actually think with Absolute and the closers that are there and him as a lead rep, that he's got a really good shot. But once again, it came down to the data. Like, in sales, they say, like, you're as good as what you did yesterday. You know, a lot of times it feels that way. It's like an eat what you kill mentality. And the reality is like he went out and did it better than anybody else in May. So someone go prove me wrong.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Hey,
Brandon,
I gotta argue
up.
that. I gotta argue that for 2 seconds because I know how absolutely important seeding week is. Jace is seeded 45. That's a long road to the top. That means he's competing against the top half of this bracket, and that's going to take a lot of work. That's a hard fight back. And because of that, because I know seeding is so important, my pick is our number 1 seed, the top dog. It's hard to dethrone a king in Trevin. So I think that number 1 seed, he's got a good road to the end. And I think he's going to take it all. Hard to beat momentum, hard to beat that number 1 seed.
Brandon, you took mine. You freaking stole mine. I have watched Trevin go perform over the last month, and I think that the data says that he's going to take it all. That was my pick, going with the number 1 seed. If I had to pick a second, it's Becca Erickson. I think that she's got some Erickson blood in her, which means she's extremely competitive. 2, Jace Hansen is, I think they're dating, if I know right. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on here, but I think that there is absolutely some competition, and she's watched Jace go perform. I think she knows, she has a really good insight into what's going on. And so because you picked Trevin, Brandon, I'm going to pick someone different, and I'm going with Becca Erickson winning the entire thing. Branson, you're up.
Good. I like Tate. I'm going with Tate. I think that, like Dan said, numbers don't lie, except for the seeding numbers because he's seeded at 9. I think that 1 seed has a target and has some pressure involved. So I'm going with Tate.
Okay, guys, we are going to be doing a version of this bracketology for each round. So this stuff might change. The reality is because the seeding week didn't play out how we thought it was going to, it means that there might be some upsets going on. So we're going to have versions of this 3 or 4 times over the course of this. And as things shake out, like, the hard part about being on a bracketology talk track is that as the tournament goes on, you get proved wrong. And so some of your initial thoughts going into it get changed really quick after just a couple days when someone loses. So it'll be fun to go update through this process. So what we're going to do is, for the sake of time, we're going to make a hard pivot away from the lead side of the business. We're going to jump straight into the closing side of the business. So just to set the tone for this, last year in June, our top closer, recognized as the top closer on the year, was Solar Greg. Solar Greg was the Mamba champion that came out of Dallas. So Solar Greg's awesome. Solar Greg likes to play mind tricks. So for all of you that are hearing Greg say that there's no way he's winning, that he's going to go on vacation, guys, it's all part of the talk track. It's all part of those mind games that you play on a competitive level. Greg's got a huge target on his back. Someone dethroned the king. So with that, we're going to go one by one and talk through the dark horses in the closer bracket. And we're gonna start with Dan. Dan, who is your dark horse in the closers bracket?
Oh man, this is such a tough one. I've thought a lot about this one. The person I have going the deepest in the tournament, who is seeded the lowest, is Alex Wilson. I freaking love that guy. I think he's recently transitioned from being from doing leads to closing, and I think this kid has another gear that he can go into and take the whole thing. He's got a tough road ahead of him. He's seated pretty low, but if I've learned anything about working with Alex Wilson over the last year or two, it's that you do not want to underestimate this guy. Alex Wilson is my pick.
That's a strong dark horse pick.
Yeah, that
I
gave
like
me
it.
chills. That gave me chills thinking about that. Going from winning the lead side one year to the closer side the next.
Ooh, what a story. What a story.
Love to
Okay,
hear
Branson.
Make it happen,
Branson?
Alex. Don't let me down.
Branson, what about you? Dark horse, closer side.
So my dark horse is KB, Caden Bloxham. I've been super impressed and excited to watch those guys, what their success so far in Team Arbor. And I think Caden's going to go farther than a 14 seed than you would expect. I think he'll be able to pull off a few upsets. He's got to go in my bracket. He's got to go up against Preston, who's a 3 seed. So there's going to be some good matchups, which it would be even better down the road if we see some even more spicy matchups within their office.
I love it. I freaking love it. Brandon, what about you? The guy who knows the competition, the ins and outs of it deeper than anyone. Who do you believe is the dark horse?
My pick for this dark horse, maybe he's not that much of a dark horse because he's dominated the month of May, brand new to the solar world, but not to the door-to-door game, which means he knows how to self-gen, which is going to be so important for this closer bracket. I believe a self-genner will win the Mamba championship this year. My dark horse pick is Jared Russell, my guy in LA. 23 closes in the last 24 days. He's got it figured out and dialed in for the month of June. I just don't see him losing. He's gonna go crush.
I think that's such an important distinction, Brandon, about the tournament, is that it's unique, but I believe that you're right. This year, I think that the winner is going to be someone who's not afraid to go self-gen, someone that's willing to go say, hey, like, I'm not going to wait for leads to come in. I'm going to go create them myself. And so because of that, I'm going to tell you the 2 people that I've been struggling with on knowing whether or not to pick. And it's Parker Nelson and Braxton Belliston. 2 guys that are seated decent, but I just think that are not scared of the work. They're not scared to go out and grind. Parker Nelson is likely one of the best self-generers we've had in our business to date. And so, gosh, I'm torn, but Braxton was our #1 all-time rookie last year. Like, legitimately, there was nobody that came into solar that made more money that did better than Braxton Belliston. And I think so that I don't end up in a family affair, I got to pick Parker Nelson. Parker, I love you, dude. Do not let me down. That's the dark horse.
Hey, Quade, I get what you're talking about here, but I just think you're wrong. Like, we just have short memory problems. Like, you go look at the last 4 months, and it's like Paulo and Trey Nix and Jacob Shreve and these guys that have just absolutely dominated. These guys are it. Like, go look at the year-to-date numbers. It's so clear to me that these guys are going to be the competitors. We're talking a dark horse. I'd go Alan Bowers all day long. He's going to go self-gen. He's got an army of lead reps. He's a 6 seed in this tournament. He's seeded well. He's going to go far. He's got a chance to win.
He won't beat Caden.
Oh, guys,
Dave,
this is fun.
That pick. We talked to Alan on Monday in Arizona when we were down there, and he's bought in. One of the X factors, I think, to Mamba and really any competition is your buy-in level. And if you know you're going to win, if you believe you're going to win and you feel that and you're bought into the competition, you go far. It's a guarantee. Everybody that's bought in goes far.
If we're talking about belief in somebody that understands how these competitions work and has won one, you can't count out Mario either. Like, he's called the shot from the very beginning, comes out on the first round of the actual Mamba tournament. I think he closed 3 deals yesterday. Like, if I'm him, I'm just talking trash right now, right? Because he believes he's going to win. I believe that he can go win. He's that talented. Like, if it's a belief, I got Mario all the way.
If it's
I don't know.
fate.
Yeah, there you go. Pun intended, huh? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Linda, what about you? Who is your dark horse in the closers bracket?
In the closers bracket, my dark horse, honestly, I'm torn. You guys already mentioned one, so I don't want to pick that person. Right now, I'm honestly going between Junior and Edwin, both out in Cali. But here's why. Again, I think it's super important for people to understand when you put the pedal to the metal, those two can. Junior's been very consistent with Radix, and obviously it's his home base. He's loyal to us. Like, he's here and he's here to win. I think it's also important to know that there's just no barriers between those two. English and Spanish, that's it. That's easy win, and both on self-gen. But with that said, Edwin, I have history with him. He is like a silencer, like a sniper. He will go, and when he is pushed, again, to a corner, you got to get ready to back up, because you know what? Explosion's going to happen. So at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and label my dark horse as Edwin Rodriguez. He right now is at number 10, I think. And honestly, I do see him playing a part in going a long way out there. So that's what I'm choosing right now.
I love that pick. He signed 24 deals in May. So he's got momentum on his side.
Play.
Really,
my boy does not play. I will go to war with anybody for my boy.
In my Sweet 16 bracket, I have Edwin Rodriguez versus Tyler Bean. Man, that would be an epic.
That is a matchup.
So do I.
Hey, I want to know who you
Edwin,
picked out of those two, Dan. Dan, who did you pick at winning out of those two?
Dude, okay, now that Linda's talking, I don't know. She made a really good case for Edwin. Edwin has crushed it lately. I put Tyler Bean, but man, they both got like the same lead gen group. So it's going to be kind of an interesting, I think that's where really the self gen is going to start to play into it between those two.
So important.
So
in that group.
There's a factor here that I hadn't even considered until Linda spoke. If you're bilingual, like the number of leads that you can take and have access to changes, right? I think that changes the game. So with that being said, we're going to shift gears. If you're a betting person and you got to bet on one person to go win this, I'm going to start based on, like, I think I'm actually changing mine from what I put in my bracket. I believe that based on the ability to self-gen, based on someone speaking Spanish, bilingual, and the lead pool, all those things considered, I believe that my boy Thiago Varela is the Mamba 2022 champion. Thiago Varela.
Yes. That's my champion too. We'll go on that, Quade.
Hey, if you're picking the champion of the best trash talking, you definitely got it.
My boy.
I don't think he's
trash talking. You know what? I love it, but you got to walk the walk, and no matter what, he walks that walk, and shit, he's gonna look like it too. He'll throw anybody across the room.
That's right. That's my boy. Have you seen his freaking? Have you seen his triceps?
Next weekend, and we're gonna be cheering you on.
It takes endurance, not bulk, to go win this competition.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about picking a champ.
11 p.m. deals, late night deals. You know what? My boy T, he's not scared. No soliciting Stein will knock that door and close it times 10.
Hold on. We're talking about picking a champ. And we're not even talking about the guy that closed 43 deals last June to win the Mamba, Solar Greg Osborne, SG.
Yeah.
Like, how are we not talking about him?
It is true.
The guy
you know
is
what?
like
Those
totally
will be the
tricking
top
everyone
two.
right now.
Those will be the top two for sure. I know
Listen.
that. That's gonna be the battle of the battles. The Titans against Titans, man.
Guys, my hot take, Greg's out in the first round. He told me he was only doing one deal in the first round.
Yeah,
So
and you believed him.
Greg's
Yeah,
out in
you
the first
believed
round.
him.
Okay, so Dan,
Payson Erickson's another guy that wants to go make a run down there, and he has fully the ability to do it. He's over 100 installs at Radix. He's a guy that could go do it.
Hey, listen, there's two names that that have been around for a while that are due for a champion title. One of them's Erickson, and one of them is Foster. So I think those guys, they're due. I see them going deep. I see a Foster and Erickson getting real deep in this tournament.
Those names are
Okay,
family
so-
at RDX.
we got Tate and McCray, and we got Payson and Preston and Trey, right? So we
Yep.
have those 5 guys. Pick. I want to hear it, Brandon.
Out of those, who wins?
You gotta
Yep.
say Tate, right? I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know that I've ever seen a more fierce competitor than Mr. Tate Foster. Yeah. He is an animal in a competition.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it.
That group, I picked Tate.
Okay. Dave. Who's your pick?
I already said a bunch of people that I thought could win it. The guy that actually wins it this year, I don't even know if we need to play the competition because I know I'm right on this. It's Tyler Bean. The guy will go win Mamba 2022.
Nope.
Mark my words, it's going to happen. Just give it
Hey.
a few weeks. Nobody
That's
can
my-
compete with him. He's got it this year.
That's
What
my
he
pick.
said.
Been
Dave.
consistent.
What
I
he
will say
said.
that. Tyler's been consistent. He's a machine.
I've looked at a lot of numbers for a lot of these competitions. There's one guy that we haven't even mentioned yet that is 100% going to win this. And this isn't just me trying to rile people up. I actually 100% believe that this person will win. And that's Jake Shreve. Guys, Jake Shreve's going to win. Like, I would love for somebody to come to me and make the case why he won't win. Because listen, there's a lot of different ways you can look at this. Lead pool, you can look at how many self-gen accounts, you can look at what market they're in, what hours there are in the day, whether it's hot or not there. But here's the thing. The person who wins this is the person who works the hardest. And day in, day out, nobody outworks Jake Shreve, and not even close. So Jake Shreve's, he's taking it home. He's taking it all home, I think.
Hey, one of those factors we talked about, Dan, earlier, and your number one pick for the lead champ, right, being Tate Moser. Tate and Shreve, they're best buddies. Team Apex down in Arizona. I can see a lot of momentum. Those guys feeding off of each other and taking it deep in this tournament.
How cool would that be to go see the Dallas champions of last year have it go that same thing play out in Arizona where you have the lead guy and the closer come out of the same market? Wow. I think we have one more. I think we have one more, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Branson, who is winning this tournament?
I'll be honest, I think that the winner is going to come out of California. I do agree with what was just said about Shreve. He does have the Mamba mentality of everybody. He gets it, and he's proven it over time. But I got to go with Tyler Bean. I think that we're going to see some fire out of that office, and I think that he's just going to pick up momentum. I see him going up against Tate Foster early on, midway through the competition, which will be a dog fight. And
dude, he has a tough path, man. Look at that. Tate
He
Foster,
does.
Edwin Rodriguez, Preston
Caden
Erickson.
blocks him. It's heavy down there.
I got
you
Tyler
guys.
Bean.
So I
Tyler
have to agree
Bean's
with
my
Dave.
pick. Tyler's going all the way. He's our 2022 Mamba champ, Tyler Bean.
Hopefully all this
Oh,
pressure,
Tiago-
hopefully we don't
Tiago's
put too
the
much
two
pressure
best
on him.
Guys, this has been so much fun. I'm excited to go play this out over the next few weeks and go see how things shake up once we get through round one and go through this. I have to end with this. I'm so grateful for RDX Nation. This has been so fun to get to a point in our business where we have this many fierce competitors that legitimately it can go so many different ways. And I'm stoked for everybody and everybody's individual path to go get there. Gosh, Radix Nation, we love you. Thank you for everything. Congrats to the 2022 Driven champions. And I am so excited to see who our Mamba champions will be and who has the Mamba mentality. Love you guys.
Thanks.
Let's go. Who's taking it home?